Ash from Super Videos, back for another live Q&A video. This is Q&A number 201, I think. 202. 202. We're back for another Q&A that's close to an episode of The Walking Dead. So obviously season 10 episode 9, the mid-season premiere is this Sunday. So we're basically back to our Q&As that are specific to Walking Dead. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions about The Walking Dead and the mid-season premiere and the second half of season 10. They released a lot of different promo material, images, teasers, trailers the last few days. So that's extremely interesting. But we're definitely getting very, very close now. Only 2 days left until the mid-season premiere. And I'm extremely excited for this episode. Let's see what we're gonna get, and let's see how the characters are gonna get out of the situation that they were in last we saw them. So with that said, we'll wait for a few more minutes for people to show up. But one thing I do want to mention here quick is starting next week, or starting today actually, we're going to go back to our Walking Dead specific schedule, which is the schedule that we have when Walking Dead is on. I probably should update the other schedule as well based on what we're going to do during the off season, but we're not going to get an off season anytime soon. Like after season 10's second half for The Walking Dead, we're going to have World Beyond. That's going to run for 10 weeks straight. And then I think Fear is going to start. And then there's going to be a break between the mid-season of Fear, season 6. Now, I talked about season 6 of Fear before. I'm probably not going to cover it the way I have before, but we'll know more about that when we get closer to season 6 of Fear. But for the time being, I don't think we're going to have our off-season or Walking Dead off-season schedule until World Beyond is done, which is 18 weeks, right? So because 8 weeks for Walking Dead and then 10 episodes, 1 per week for World Beyond, so that's 10 weeks. So that's 18 weeks. So after 18 weeks, we might have a new schedule during Fear the Walking Dead, but we might not. So we'll get into that later. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, that we're gonna basically have our regular Walking Dead schedule from today, basically. So as always, if there's any questions that you have, write it in the chat and we will have our Q&A. Oh, also let me know if there's any issues with the stream, any lagging or anything like that. I'll do my best to fix it on my end if there's anything I can fix from my end. I do have another thing I wanted to kind of talk about. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to keep it up, but I'm thinking I'm going to bring back the segment that we had for every episode of The Walking Dead, which was things you may have missed and Easter eggs. That I think I stopped it in season 8 or something like that. So I'm probably going to bring that back for the second half of season 10. We'll see how much people want that to stay, and then we might keep that for the remainder. For Walking Dead right now, we might do other stuff later, like World Beyond, and if I go back to Fear, then Fear. But for now, it's just going to be Walking Dead. But if people want it, then we'll probably keep it around for season 11 and so on for The Walking Dead. But for those of you that don't know what that's all about, so I think it was season 7 and 8, I brought that segment into the channel where for every episode of The Walking Dead that was going to air, before it aired, or actually for every episode that airs, I have a video called Things You May Have Missed and Easter Eggs, where I talk about things that are interesting, connections that it had to other things that might be of interest to people, or Easter eggs for comic material, for future material, for anything. So all of those will be in like a video called Things You May Have Missed and Easter Eggs. So I'm probably going to bring that back at least for the second half of season 10. We'll see how it goes, but you know, I might bring that segment back altogether. But we'll see how popular it is. after season 10 and whether people are interested. I went back and checked some of my other or previous videos or older videos for that segment, and there was a lot of people who enjoyed those, and it was really popular back then. So I'm going to bring it back and see whether it's still the case and whether people are still interested to keep that around. And then we'll kind of think about whether it's going to stay or not. And I should remind everyone that this is a no spoiler community, so please do not post any spoilers on any part of the channel, but specifically on these chats, because obviously it's live, people can see it, I can see it right away. I don't want to be spoiled. I don't think anyone does. So please, if you have any spoiler information, keep that to yourself and do not post it on the chat specifically, but also on anywhere in the channel. And by spoiler, I don't mean comic spoilers. That's a separate thing on its own. What I mean by that is things that you might know based on spoiler information for future episodes of The Walking Dead TV show. So, or anything, World Beyond Fear, anything like that. But if it's a comic spoiler, I think a proper comic spoiler warning at the start of your chat question would be enough. I don't think anyone really gets to these or goes on these chats who doesn't know about the comics or hasn't read the comics, so I think we should be fine. But it doesn't hurt to put a comic spoiler warning there, and that'll actually help me remember to read it out, to remind everyone that the specific comment or question that I'm reading has a little bit of comic spoiler in it. But like I said, if it's a spoiler from future episodes and it's not related to the comics, don't even say anything about it in the chat or in the channel in general. So there doesn't seem to be any questions today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this Q&A a little bit into a discussion video. So I did want to do another video on something, but I didn't want to make it like a video on its own. So I decided to kind of, if time permits, and if there's not a lot of discussion, then I'll kind of bring this in into the Q&A and talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do. And that topic is related to the scene in one of the teasers that was released. I'm going to see if I can actually find the images. That'll make the discussion a little bit easier. So give me a minute to pull up the images here. There's specifically two images, and it relates to a fight that we're gonna see in the mid-season premiere between Alpha and Daryl. They did talk about that in one of the websites during their or when they were doing their early review of the mid-season premiere. So that's how I know that they're gonna have a fight. And these two scenes, or these scenes that I'm going to talk about, are probably connected to that, and it's part of their fight most likely. So let me pull it up here. So yeah, as I was saying, so there's going to be a fight between Daryl and Alpha in the mid-season premiere, and I just wanted to talk about a few shots that were in one of the teasers. So I'm just going to go forward a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, right here. So that's part of the fight, I think, part of Daryl and Alpha's fight. But there's this specific shot right here. I think I missed it. I'm going to try to pause just in time. Let me see. Yeah, so that's also part of the fight, I think. But there's one specific shot that I wanted to talk about right here. So this shot right here where we have Alpha, so that's Alpha, and in the background, just take a look, there's like this building with this kind of roof and like this car and stuff. So that comes back later on in the teaser, and I'm gonna try to find that, this one right here. So we can see someone or a walker is attacking what or who seems to be Daryl right here, and the background matches. So it seems like these two are from the same exact sequence of events, and it seems like Alpha lets loose this walker who attacks Daryl, and I think that leads to that shot of Daryl who was injured. Let me go back. Right there. There we go. So this shot of Daryl. Now we don't know if this is from the same scene, but it probably is. And he looks pretty beat up and bloodied and stuff. I don't think he's going to be bit or anything, but I think like when he gets into this thing with Alpha, he gets beat up pretty bad. So does Alpha, both of them. And I think Alpha lets loose a walker who's going to attack Daryl. So that's extremely interesting. That's pretty much everything I wanted to kind of mention about this teaser that I originally missed when I did my breakdown of this video or of this teaser. So with that, let me see. Oh, there's more people on the chat, or there's more questions on the chat. We'll read those, and we'll stick around for another maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll end the stream. The reason I talked about that is because there was no questions, there was no one on, so I decided to turn the Q&A into a discussion video, or a short one. But with that, let's jump into the questions. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, I'm super excited for The Walking Dead to return. I'm glad this wait is over. Absolutely. It felt long, but at the same time, it didn't feel long, because there wasn't this kind of anticipation, or for me at least, to want to come back and see what happens right after. You know what I mean? Yes, the cave trap was cool and everything, but at the same time, maybe this is because of the promotional stuff they released immediately after. It spoiled that some of them were going to survive, and it made it pretty obvious that that moment wasn't as big as they made it out to be. You know what I mean? So that's partially why I didn't feel as long for me. But yeah, I'm glad it's back. Epic Zombie Killer, in my opinion, AMC got kind of sloppy. They've released too many trailers, in my opinion. Absolutely. I mean, the last few days or few weeks, they released a lot of teasers and trailers that gave away, I would say, maybe, if not half, then like 40% of the first 2 episodes. And that's, I don't think that's good as an audience. People like me who cover these teasers and trailers, or not have to cover, but we do, we don't have a choice. We have to watch them, we have to break it down, and maybe that's part of the problem, that it kind of gives away too much for us because we dig deep and we break everything apart. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you that they released way too many teasers and trailers, and it's just, it's not shocking and surprising anymore for the most part. Epic Zombie Killer, I have a lot of hope that this second half will be awesome. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of crazy stuff coming up for the second half, if you think about it. Like the Whisper stuff, Alpha stuff, the Beta stuff, the Negan and the Whisper stuff on its own, Michonne's exit, Maggie coming back, the Commonwealth introduction, and that's it, I think, right? Princess, also possibility of a big death, which would be an adaptation of the Andrea death from the comics. So there's a lot of crazy big stuff coming this half of the season. if they do it justice, I think it'll be an amazing half season. As slow and as the first half was, I think the second half has the possibility of being an amazing second half. Epic Zombie Killer, I have a feeling somebody will save Daryl. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see them doing something where Connie saves him in the cave and maybe Carol saves him later on and stuff like that. Maybe not, maybe not, they won't do two. Maybe it'll just keep it as one. But I do see where you're coming from, where it seems extremely likely that someone's going to save Daryl. They've built it up towards where Daryl saves someone or someone saves Daryl. Epic Zombie Killer, Q&A, hey Ash, I'm hoping Carol will be better and learn from her mistakes from the first half. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Carol in season 10. She's one of my favorites. I loved Carol last season, but this season I'm just not a fan of her. And I think that they definitely need something to bring her back. So I definitely agree with you. They have to make it so that she learns from her mistakes. Epic Zombie Killer, but yeah, I'm excited for The Walking Dead Season 10B and World Beyond. Fear, I could care less. Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, after Season 10 is done, World Beyond starts the week after. So we pretty much have 18 weeks, because 8 episodes of Walking Dead and then 10 episodes of World Beyond. So 18 weeks of The Dead. And then I think Fear starts. So we're going to have more than that. But for the channel, as far as the channel is concerned, 18 weeks. Because Fear, I'm not going to cover, like I said. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to wait until the first half of Season 6 is done. And then binge watch and react to episodes and post it after it's out. And maybe do a review of the first half. Same thing for the second half. Again, I don't know whether I'm going to do that or not, or whether I'm just going to completely skip it. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I completely agree with you that there's going to be a lot of Walking Dead coming up for the next few months and maybe the next year. So that's going to be extremely exciting. Epic Zombie Killer, agree she's been too reckless and careless. Yeah, Carol, absolutely. Epic Zombie Killer, only Fear can make me go from its biggest defender to its biggest hater. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed season 1 of Fear. Season 2 I was okay with. Season 3 I hated, you could say. I didn't really enjoy, you could say. Season 4, it was, parts of it I enjoyed, parts of it I hated, so I was in the middle. Season 5, I would say I hated for the most part, and yeah. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm hoping Fear ends after Season 6. I don't want it to get a Season 7. I agree with you, but I think it will. I don't think they're going to stop. They're going to milk it as much as they can. But yeah, I agree it shouldn't get a Season 6. Or a Season 7. It shouldn't have gotten a Season 6. But it shouldn't get a Season 7. Alright, so we are 35 minutes in, and I know the Q&A just started in a way, but we'll go for another maybe 5 minutes, and that'll be the end of the stream. There's only I think 2 people watching anyway, so we should be okay. Epic Zombie Killer, I know, I know some trailers for The Walking Dead Season 10 second half have been good. Beta going to Alexandria and digging his way from underground. That's something that AMC spoiled. They definitely spoiled that. Gamma going to Alexandria and telling them their friends are trapped. That's a spoiler, in my opinion. It's a small one, but that was in the first trailer. Like, they released that immediately after the mid-season finale. So it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So, too much, man, too much. I think it's just that they should slow down and they should understand the difference. They used to be really good, but they are very sloppy nowadays. They should understand the difference between teasing us about something and giving it away. The last few weeks, they've been giving away a lot of information. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. Hey Ash, like, they spoiled that Jerry lived by a photo. Absolutely. Like, it's counterintuitive too. In the trailer, the first one, they wanted you to think that Jerry dies. Right? They wanted you to think that. So, who in their right mind would do that, go through all the trouble to do that, and then release an image a week before, or a week and a half before the episode airs, to reveal, no, Jerry is fine. Who does that, you know? Same thing with Kelly. They wanted you to think that she dies in some of the recent teasers, but they showed her in multiple parts of other teasers, and they have images of her outside of the cave. So it's like, really, AMC? I don't even know if it's AMC or if it's something else. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Epic Zombie Killer, also, I'm hoping they don't spoil Maggie's return. They probably will. But yeah, I hope they don't. At least how it happens. Like, if they spoil the episode, that's whatever. But how it happens, I hope they don't spoil that. Speaking of them spoiling stuff, they spoiled Negan with Whisper Mask. With his Whisper Mask on. They spoiled Negan whipping Alpha and punishing her. They spoiled Negan having that conversation with Alpha in a sneak peek. You know? That's just a lot of spoilers, in my opinion. Teasing us about something is one thing, like I said, but just giving it away and spoiling it like this, that's another thing. That's why I was really hesitant for the last few teaser breakdowns. I'm like, should I even watch this? Should I even break it down? Because I know it's going to give away something. But, you know, I just watched it and did the breakdowns for it because those are actually some of the most popular videos on the channel and people ask for it a lot. So it's like I had to do it, but at the same time, it spoils a lot of information or it spoiled a lot of stuff to me when I watched it. Epic Zombie Killer, by the way, the photo of Yumiko, Ezekiel, and the other character, I feel they're looking at Princess. I think they are, and that's another spoiler. Even though they didn't really spoil it, comic readers know what that is. So, in a way, they did spoil it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's probably that. That or they... actually, no, that's the only thing it could be. That's the only thing. Oh, also... I don't even know if that's a spoiler necessarily, but the episode titles were a little too descriptive as well. We talked about it before, but they are a little bit, especially the one that says "Look at the flowers." I mean, that's gotta mean something related to Carol, right? And also, there's rumors that episode 15 is called "The Tower," which again is a little too descriptive for comic fans because we know what that is. And also, the season finale is called A Certain Doom, which again, it's a little bit of a spoiler because we know what that is from the comics, or what that's potentially going to be. Alright, so that's it for this Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know that we were a little all over the place at the start because I did the discussion in the middle of it because there was no one there. But hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Hopefully you'll join me on Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time for our Q&A again before the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead. But with that said, one final comment from Epic Zombie Killer and we'll end it. Epic Zombie Killer, by the way, apparently Princess is gonna resemble her comic version, so she's not gonna work in the show. Yeah, she was too much of a comic booky character, so if they do her character exactly the same, I agree, it won't work in the TV show. It might, but it's a tough one. But yeah, I agree with you there. That's pretty much it for this Q&A video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time for another super video.